Okay, family. Question. What are you grateful for today? When you look around you, when you look at a situation, when you look at your circumstances, what are you grateful for? Out of that devastation, out of that frustrations, out of that depression, out of everything that can go wrong around you, it's going wrong around you. Question. What are you grateful for? Or I should say, are you grateful for anything? With all the things that's happening to you, you feel like you can't catch a break. You feel like, God, when is going to be my good news? When is it going to be my time? Are you grateful for anything? Well, let's get into it. Hello, my family. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vera. I am a mother of 4 boys. I'm a full-time working mom. I'm a full-time wife, and I'm a full-time mother. So welcome to my channel. First of all, I want to apologize before we continue with this video. My son that you guys saw earlier that was wiggling his tongue at the camera, that child of mine, he loves camera. Whenever the camera is on, he's like, all right, mama. Thank you for putting the camera on. I'm ready to act silly, okay? So he came from school and he's trying to make lunch. But anyway, we are going to be making dinner today. I want you guys to come along with me while we talk about living a grateful life, while I make dinner for my family, and you guys will see my family at the end. But before we continue with this video, after watching this video, if you love it so much, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and share this video with your friends and family. Also, I want to apologize for that fire alarm sound. The battery is low. Hubby gonna change it tomorrow morning when day breaks. Okay, so excuse that fire alarm. Okay, that's my hubby sitting right there doing schoolwork with his boys. Okay, let's get into the video. Today's topic is gracefulness, living a graceful life. Like I said before in the intro, are you grateful? What are you grateful for? When you look at your surrounding, when you look at your situation, when you look at the doctor report, when you look at the place you live in, do you find anything in there to be grateful for? Are you grateful for anything? Well, I want to talk about my situation. Well, to be precise, I want to say about 5 or 6 days ago, the enemy thought he had me. He thought he had me so bad. He thought that he had pinned me against the wall, okay? Because to be precise, about 6 days ago, I was sitting in my living room on my dining table, and boy, for 2 days, almost 3 days, I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop feeling hopelessness. I couldn't stop feeling unwanted. I couldn't stop feeling how useless I am. Can you imagine that? The enemy stopped pointing things out to me. And one of it that he loves to use against me is my place, my living situation. If you don't know, I am a mother of 4 boys, and we are the family of 6. And we are living in 2-bedroom apartment. My husband and I, we have been really working hard to purchase a home. But for some reason, whenever we try, the harder we tried, the more step back we get. So we've been trying for years to get out of this apartment. But about 6 days ago, you know how when God is about to bless you and the devil try to make you focus on the things that is not happening for you? I started feeling so bad. I started looking at my apartment and I started feeling like, what is wrong with me? I'm in this 2-bedroom apartment and we are a family of 6, and my kids cannot play however they want to play. I keep telling them start jumping, there's people underneath you. I keep telling them sit down when they want to play as a kid. They are not free to play. God, what is this? God, why am I in this 2-bedroom apartment? Something wrong with me. I am so slow. I started telling myself a lot of negative stuff to the point I started weeping like I lost someone. I started crying for 3 days, and to tap it over, the devil started coming at me with my job. Because at this point, truth be told, I do not like my job. I'm not gonna lie. It provides for me. I do not like my job. And devil start telling me, at your age, and you're still working at the same spot, your friends are progressing in life. Your friends are doing way better than you. And you're still here at the same job, not accomplishing anything. And I started feeling depressed. I started feeling horrible about myself. I started crying like, I can't believe I'm this. The only thing I'm good for is to be mother. That's all I'm good for. I started crying. You know one thing about God, He's a merciful God. After I got done having my pity party, He spoke to me. He said, okay, the place you're at is not where you want to be. I understand that. But in that situation, in the place that you're at, have I not done anything good for you? Have I not done absolutely nothing good for you? Show me one thing I have not done good for you where you at right now at your current situation. Tell me what good have I not done? And that is my question to you today. Whatever situation you at, look into that situation and ask yourself, what good have God not done for you? You may be crying, you may be lonely, you may be depressed, you may feel like how I was feeling, crying like you lost someone. But the question that God asked me is the same question that I'm asking you. In the midst of all that chaos, have God not been good to you? And He asked me that question. And I started saying, yeah, God has been good to me. Number one, I have my sanity. My sanity is intact. I can think for myself. I can make decisions for myself. I can breathe on my own. I can walk on my own. I can do whatever it is that I want to do on my own. Imagine how many people are in the hospital. They are not able to go to the bathroom by themselves. Matter of fact, they cannot breathe on their own. They need oxygen to breathe. They cannot grab pen and paper to write for themselves. Somebody got to speak on their behalf. There are people that are on life support, fighting for their life. And here you are. You can get up and cook and walk and give yourself a bath. Haven't God not been grateful to you for that? The people that are in the hospital fighting for their lives, are you better than them? Number two, God gives you a job that put food on your table. He gives me a job that put food on my table. Even though I hate the job more than anything, but God is providing through that job. My kids get to eat 3 times a day. Other children are out there. They barely can have 1 meal a day. Not to talk about your kids eating 3 times a day. They can open a refrigerator, grab food from there, and eat whenever they feel like eating. Have God not been faithful for that? You hate the job, but yet God gave you women that you are ministering to them, that you are bringing them closer to God. Hasn't God been faithful to you, Vera? Number 3, God gave you an apartment that you hate so much, but guess what? The apartment is putting roof on your table. Roof over your head. Your kids are not sleeping in the street. Imagine how many mothers and how many fathers who are struggling, living in the shelter, sleeping in the shelter, and they got their arms wrapped around their children, trying to protect their children from the harms of strangers that they are sleeping with, and they don't know these strangers. But here you are, your kids got one bed to sleep in. Your kids got warm clothes to wear. Your kids got warm place to sleep. They can go to sleep whenever they feel like going to sleep. They can wake up whenever they feel like sleeping. Haven't God not been faithful to you? Haven't God not been good to you? So why is it that you're not being grateful? God gave you a marriage that is flourishing. Your husband loves you more than anything. There are women of your age that are looking for a common boyfriend that will just love them for who they are. But here you are, God gave you a marriage that is flourishing. God gave you children. You know how many people out there are begging God for kids and God cannot open their womb? Like Sarah in the Bible. Not Sarah, like Hannah. Hannah have to cry to God over and over for God to open Hannah's womb. And God gave you kids for free. Haven't God not been faithful to you? He gives you those kids and He provides for them. Vera, haven't God not been faithful to you? Why are you being like the Israelites? The Israelites, they were meant to go to their promised land, the land that God promised them, the land of honey, milk, freedom, successfulness, happiness, peace. Instead of the journey taking them a month, the journey took them 40 years. Why? Because they were not grateful to God. They were being very ungrateful. Can you imagine being a slave in Egypt? And the Egyptians, they don't care about you. They are beating you black and blue day in and day out. You are thirsty for water. They're not giving you water to drink. And here you are. And here they are. Finally, God hears their cry. They pray to God over and over. God hears their cry. And God take them from the hands of slavery, the hands of their masters. And God brought them to a land of resting place in the wilderness. God said, y'all rest here until we continue with the journey. God said, Moses, come, let me give you the 10 Commandments. Come, let me speak to you. Moses left. Moses was there in the presence of God for 40 nights and 40 days. And they got mad. They started complaining. Or if we know we were supposed to stay in Egypt, at least in Egypt, they were beating us, but we know where we were at. We are in this wilderness. We don't know what's happening. Some people went as far as making fake God. And that's what God hates. He said in his word, thou shalt not put anything. Matter of fact, thou shalt not make man-made image and worship that man-made image. Whatever that human being make with their hands. God said, thou shalt not worship that thing. And here they are. They made image out of gold. And they were worshiping that gold, and they are complaining. Can you imagine God is feeding you with manners, with food from heaven? God literally opened the doors of heavens, and God is feeding them, and here they are still complaining. Where is Moses? Aaron, go get Moses. Where is Moses? If we knew we were not supposed to leave Egypt. And God said, oh really? After all I have done for you? Is that how you're going to repay me? Fine. The journey was supposed to take a month, but guess what? It's going to take 40 years. Y'all going to be in the desert for 40 years. And let's see how it's going to happen. There were other people that destiny was meant to be in the promised land. But some of them ended up dying in that desert. Some of them ended up dying in that wilderness. Because why? They were ungrateful to God. They were not grateful. Can you imagine God is taking you from slavery and bringing you to a place of resting for now until you can continue with a journey to the promised land, and you are being ungrateful to God? Who in the world does that? And that was me. God gave me an apartment that the rent is as affordable as anything else. And here I am. I'm being so ungrateful to God. I'm being like the Israelites. God, look at this 2-bedroom apartment. God, look at this one. God, why is it happening to me? Maybe God has a blessing for me in store. And I'm whining and I'm being like the Israelite. God said, okay, say you having a pouty mouth and you being like the Israelite. Guess what? The house that I have for you, that I have already have your name on that house. You're not going to move into that house until you start appreciating me, until you start appreciating what I have done for you. Wherever you are, whatever situation you are in, if you search around and if you look deep within your heart, you will find the hands of God, how God has been grateful to you. Maybe you do not have a place to sleep, but you have a shelter that you go to at night. Maybe you do not have a place to sleep, but you have your sanity. There is nothing impossible with God in this world. God, he said to his people, when they asked him, he said, is there anything too hard for me? And he said, no, there's nothing too hard for you. There is absolutely nothing too hard for God to do. No matter what situation you are in, praise him, worship him. You know, when Job lost everything, Job didn't stop praising God. He said, I will continue to praise God. He's the one that gave. He said, Job said in the book of Job, he said, God gives and God takes. You may have lost your loved one today, but God gives and God takes. Don't let that take away the joy that God had given you. Don't let that make you to stop bad-mouthing God like the Israelites. Whatever destiny that God has for you, People have that saying, destiny can be delayed, but trust me, destiny can never ever be denied. Those who God meant for them to reach to the promised land, they made it to the promised land. Why? Because that was their destiny to make it to that promised land. Even though it took them 40 years, but they made it to the promised land. Don't be like the Israelites and waste what God meant to do for a day for it to turn into a year. God said, your ways are not my ways. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your plans are not my plans. So heaven is higher than the earth, so are my ways. Our ways is not God's ways. Whatever situation we find ourselves in, let's look deep within ourselves and we'll find the hands of God work. The hand of God work. We'll find it in our situation. And let us be grateful for that. We may be sharing tears right now, but trust me, every darkness at the end of the tunnel, there's a light at the end of that darkness. So I want to say, your destiny will never miss you, because while your name, God has written your name to your destiny. No matter what. The reason most of us don't reach our destiny quicker is because we are being like the Israelite and we are being very, very ungrateful to God. Instead of praising Him in our time of trouble, we are doing what? We are bad-mouthing, questioning His authority. So let's be grateful.